Welcome to the City of Roswell City Ordinances for Realtors and Property Managers virtual seminar, a 7-part series of informational videos. You will hear directly from the City of Roswell's experts on our Geographic Information System, or GIS, permitting, code enforcement, and utilities. Topics to be discussed will include resources and beneficial programs available to homeowners, when permitting is required for projects and improvements, ordinances that realtors, managers, and potential buyers should be aware of, and how to set up city services.
Hello everyone, my name is Keith Kenney. I am the Environmental Compliance Officer here for the City of Roswell, and I'm going to talk today a little bit about what the Environmental Compliance Officer does, what we look at, our enforcement actions, and what kind of complaints and type we receive. So there'll be a brief slideshow here, and I'll talk about each one of these slides. One of the benefits of the City of Roswell is they provide sanitation services. It's a very good benefit here to deal with the city for sanitation purposes and recycling. We have strict ordinances about how your cans are displayed or put out. Your garbage and recycling cans, you typically picked up the same day. They can be out as early as 6 p.m. on the day prior to collection. If you want them picked up that day, they need to be out no later than 8 a.m. on the day of collection. And they must be removed from the curb at the end of the collection day. Also, everything that is put out for garbage for recycling must be contained in a city-approved container. Can't be laying on the ground beside the dumpster or the container. They have to be in the containers and not just laying freely about. I'm going to talk a little bit here about preparation and placement of yard waste. Another good benefit that the City of Roswell offers is they will collect yard waste. It's a program that they have where if you want to clean up your yard, cut down some tree branches, blow your leaves, stack your leaves, rake your leaves, want to remove things like that from your property, any kind of yard waste will be collected. So there's specific areas that you have to adhere to for them to pick those up. All this you can read here. Please try to contain your yard debris in 30-gallon sacks, like paper craft sack you can get at any of your home improvement stores or anything along those lines. And they can't be anything over 50 pounds, too heavy. You don't want the guys out there to break their backs having to pick it up. Also, metal or plastic container with closed slitting lid. So like if you want to go to one of the home improvement stores and buy a trash can, larger size trash can, you can put those out there. A lot of people use those. I see those all over the city. Tree branches, limbs have to be cut down to specific sizes, no longer than 4 feet in length and no larger than 6 inches in diameter. That's a routine weekly collection up to 12 paper sacks or containerized equivalent, or 2 cubic yards of loose limbs or branches. Tree contractors and professional landscaping businesses must dispose of their own waste. So if you have a tree company come in and cutting down big trees and everything, they have to remove all that from their property. This is only specifically for the homeowner or the resident of the home. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about curbside don'ts. These are the kind of things that we receive complaints about here in environmental compliance, where someone puts out a bunch of trash like this, and once again, it's not contained into a container, which is an eyesore on the community. Nobody wants to really look at that and have to deal with that, and then they need to be put in containers. This is a situation in the first picture there where I would come out and make sure you remove everything. The resident or the homeowner would have to remove all those items and put them in bins for collection. Same thing with the yard waste over here. That's way too many bags. A good idea to collect. It looks like it's probably a bunch of leaves or something along those lines. That just try to keep it under the approved amount, which is 12 of those bags or cans with the equivalent size. This third picture here is an obstruction of street or right of way. See the branches and everything are piled there on the sidewalk, and now nobody can travel down that sidewalk. So we always got to make sure that we keep our sidewalks and streets and everything clear for pedestrian travel or vehicle travel. Next one, let's talk a little bit about commercial dumpsters and enclosures. The City of Roswell does have, once again, their own sanitation department that services commercial businesses. They have to have access to the dumpsters at all times, especially on the collection days. If there's any kind of obstruction, vehicle parked in the way, trash piled up in front of a dumpster, illegally dumped furniture, anything along those lines, that's a violation of code. The dumpster enclosures have to remain clean and in a sanitary condition. No trash on the ground, like in these pictures here. Those are all violations. dumpster enclosures also, and their doors and everything need to be maintained in a clean, safe, and sanitary manner as well. See, there's some graffiti on that container. When you start seeing this type of blight graffiti, it's a nuisance by city ordinance, and it must be removed in a timely manner to prevent more types of graffiti, more types of blight to happen on that property, because usually when these kind of things happen, it's more of a vacant type area. And when you see that kind of stuff, it promotes more. So we always try to stay on top of that and prevent that kind of stuff from happening. Let's talk a little bit about illicit discharge of pollutants. This is a very common violation that environmental compliance enforces. A lot of times it's subcontractors painting homes and stuff along those lines where they're cleaning out their brushes, and that clean out the water now filled with paint is getting into the creeks or storm drains in the city, which is a violation of city ordinance. Stuff from yard waste, people blowing their leaves, blowing the grass clipping, stuff along those lines. Can't blow any of that into the roadways or into the right-of-way or storm drains. All that needs to be maintained on your property or removed from your property through the city's yard waste campaigns. Also, motor vehicle oil, coolant, transmission fluid, can't dump any of that kind of stuff in a storm drain or in the creek or anything along those lines. These are just things that are really frowned upon, not only by the Environmental Protection Division here in the city or here in the state of Georgia, but also city ordinance tries to prevent those kind of things. A very common one is people draining their swimming pools at the end of summer, wanting to empty their swimming pools out. Can't do that into a storm drain or creek or anything along those lines. All that has to be maintained on their property. If you can let it soak into the ground with the chemicals and with chlorine and bromine and stuff, can't be in city storm drains or sanitary sewer systems or anything along those lines. Very common, though, is contractors with paint and so forth. Let's move on to the next slide here. This is scrap tire management. Residential properties can have up to 4 tires on their property. The tires must be stored in enclosed or covered areas to prevent accumulation of water. The same thing with commercial. Commercial business is allowed to have up to 750 tires on their property. They have to be closed or enclosed in covered areas just to prevent water, which promotes stagnant water and promotes mosquitoes and the other kind of insects and stuff that feed on that kind of environment. Try to prevent that here with city ordinance. These are the city ordinances. Each one of these are clickable. You can click on them. They'll take you actually to MuniCode, a site that houses the city ordinances, and they're all able to be read. Not only these, but other ordinances here for the city of Roswell. Very good to educate yourself if you're moving into the city of Roswell or selling property or operating a business, anything along those lines. Very good to educate yourself on city ordinances, kind of the do's and don'ts of city ordinances. Once again, my name is Keith Kenney. I'm the Environmental Compliance Officer here for the City of Roswell. My phone number is 770-817-6725. My email address is kkenney@roswellgov.com. Please, if you have any questions in regards to any of these ordinances or anything we've talked about, or anything in regards to environmental, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I love to have conversations with residents and businesses here in the city so we can get on the same page. Our job is a lot about education and helping people understand city ordinances and the reasons for them. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope this has been educational.